This is Pavan Sukhdev from Tokyo today, meeting with the president of JSR, Nobu Koshiba. JSR is a company which has been well known as a materials company. They are therefore part of numerous supply chains. I'm here to welcome Nobu Koshiba and discuss with him what he thinks of CORP2020 and some of the initiatives that we have in common. Mr. Koshiba, delighted to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Koshiba-san, your company is incredible because you are in almost every supply chain.
Yeah.
So whether it's tires or for rubber or whether it is semiconductors or LCDs or whether it is fiber optics or cold storage, there's some material or the other that you manufacture. Mm-hmm. It must be quite important and interesting for you to recognize your externalities and recognize the impacts of that process, of each process and so many of them. How do you see this? How do you see this as the president of the company?
The three markets we are looking at, the first one is the automotive market, and basically tire market is an adjacent market. And the third one is second one is a semiconductor market.
Semiconductors, yes.
And the fourth one is a LCD panel market. Right. So, those are the markets we are looking at. So I think, for us to understand the industry and expectations, from the industry, and we try to develop, critical materials one by one, try to support whole industry. That's what the concept.
Yeah. Is it possible for you to change a process and, if you like, market that process to your customers as being more virtuous, more efficient in resources, more efficient in energy? Is that a dialogue that your customers are willing to listen to?
Yeah, certainly. Like tire industry, they need a lot of energy. And also at the same time that, the footprint,
yes,
right? And the carbon footprint. Certainly it takes energy. It needs energy to produce tires.
Correct.
But really that also when, you wear tires, right? You run on the road and you use lots of gas. But the thing is that, by using a special rubber we offer to the customers, the gas mileage improves.
Improves, right.
Yeah,
right.
Or 8 to 10% maybe. Wow. Then I think, through the materials, we can really reduce, footprint. And actually, we provide value to our customers. In turn, customers, offer the value to the society.
By having reduced their energy footprint, so they're getting an economic value as well as a societal value in the process. Exactly. Are there opportunities here in terms of changing into bio-based synthetic rubbers?
We use one special component, of the the crude oil, which contained in the crude oil, which is butadiene.
Butadiene. Yes.
And this butadiene, right now, the total consumption of butadiene in the worldwide is like 10 million tons per year. And it now they're produced by, through naphtha, which comes from crude oil. Right. But the feedstock for petrochemical is getting lighter and lighter, which means natural gas is more used to produce petrochemicals. So
you could use ethane, for instance.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So then, actually, that the future forecast of the supply-demand balance of butadiene, by the end of this decade, butadiene is getting less and less. Right. So supply would be shorter, almost like by 2 million tons per year. So which is like 20% of the total market. Yeah. So therefore, we have to find alternative ways to make butadiene. So one of the ways, for us to make butadiene is to use a biomass. Using a bagasse, like a non-edible feedstock.
So that is the bagasse, that is the residue of sugarcane.
Yeah, exactly.
So you remove the sugar juice and that is left. Yeah.
And you using like fermentation, to very efficient fermentation to make a butanediol or butanol. Right. And then which will be converted to butadiene.
I see.
So which is become a viable technology.
And is JSR investing in this and researching?
Actually, we are researching. We spent last year we spent a lot of time to understand the technologies. Try to analyze this market.
Excellent. To me, that is an example of aligning your goals, company's goals, with society's goals. And that's, of course, one of the key attributes of what we call Corporation 2020.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other attributes. We do believe that being aware of stakeholders and being engaged with stakeholders is actually a critical dimension of the new corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Could you say something about that? How do you involve or perceive stakeholders?
Yeah. Right now, for us being GSR, we have like 40% of the sales is come from overseas.
Right.
And last year, we have 200 more employees worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, most of the employees just overseas.
Right.
So we will face the issue of the diversities,
right.
In terms of the people. So therefore, we can't really accept a lot of, difference between the nationalities. But also at the same time, as a corporation, you have to have common value. One of the things we have is to, the idea to other stakeholders.
Right.
And GSR, we do a lot R&D. We are more R&D oriented company. As a result, 85% of the employees are engineers.
Oh, engineers. Yeah. Well, you're an engineer as well.
Yeah, I was actually.
You were an engineer.
It's a long time ago.
That's right.
But so, to our employees, you really have to remind them. Number one stakeholders for us is always customers.
You have to remind employees that customers exist.
We got worried that
that's because they're all engineers. That is the reason.
I shouldn't really insult engineers, but I value engineers.
Of course, so do I. That's right.
Anyway, yeah. So therefore, certainly good technology would not sell the products.
Right.
You really have to fulfill the requirements from the customers.
Sure.
You have to meet their expectations.
Sure.
So therefore, to that extent, to the end, we need to value customers. Number two, it's our employees. And then if we fulfill, responsibilities to the society, then eventually we can fulfill the expectation from the shareholders.
From the shareholders, yeah. We have in Corporation 2020 the idea that actually the stakeholder is not merely incidental to the business, but becomes very much part of what the company does, what the president does, to focus on the stakeholder. And in a sense, what we say with Corporation 2020 is that we are moving from the limited space of shareholder capitalism to the wider space of stakeholder capitalism. And therefore, we are looking at a wider space of natural capital, human capital, and social capital. And I'd just like you to comment on some of your thoughts on biodiversity, which is natural capital. What are some of the things that the company is looking at in terms of protecting or recognizing and then protecting biodiversity?
I think, being a chemical company, we've been pretty much, conscientious about the emissions, emission control.
Emissions, yes.
So that has been the position we've been taking. But as the issue of the, global warming, and as an issue of diversity, come up more,
yes,
we really have to, reconsider how we can, position ourselves.
Right.
And I think, for us, certainly that being a decent, citizen in the society by controlling emissions, in fact, we try to comply with that zero emission right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then, but also at the same time, if we can, incorporate the idea of how we can, reduce the CO2s to, minimize the effect of, global warming.
Climate change, yes.
And I think, we think, we can really increase our brand name, as some brand name, to us. In fact, what we are doing for CO2, issue is that, we use E2 initiative. One hand is
Tell us about this E2 initiative of yours.
Yeah, E2 initiative is that, one hand is energy management, and the other part is eco-innovation.
Eco-innovation.
Yeah. Energy, management is to reduce the CO2 by 6%, by the end of this year, relative to 1990. So we would fully comply with the Kyoto.
With Kyoto, essentially with Japan's commitments to Kyoto would be complied at least by your company.
Yeah, at least, we do. And also over the horizon, we need to understand the risks. If we need to reduce like 25% relative to 90, which we think we can.
Wow.
It costs some, right? But also at the same time that once you comply, once you take care of the risks, then the other side of the coin is that opportunities.
There's the opportunity. Yes.
If the customers see that the products coming from the plant where that it says zero emission, and that complies with the Kyoto Protocol, if the same quality and same price, they're going to buy us. So it's going to give us a lot of value too.
Well, this is what
GSR.
Absolutely, and this is perhaps what some other leading companies like Puma has discovered, that if you are virtuous in recognizing your footprints, disclosing your footprints, and showing the effort to manage the footprints.
Exactly.
In fact, that creates a positive response, not a fear factor or a negative factor for the customer. You are in a sense building an eco-friendly brand for your company, and
that's what we like to, for a sustainable growth.
Sustainable growth, yes, and which is in fact going to help with the business going forward. But is it only about carbon dioxide and climate change? What about fresh water? Is this not important as well?
Yeah, I certainly studied, what would be the risks, relative to water or opportunities. So far, we are not using a lot of water, and we recycle a lot. So therefore, I don't know how I can, position this water issue within a management system. But one positive side is that, using our supercapacitor, we are currently developing, water smart meter with one of the companies in US now.
Right. So these, what do these water smart meters do for the company?
For the society, yes. Actually, I don't know how big the market is for us, but for us, certainly that helps us to brush up the technology. Right. And any technology has to be proven commercially. So it's one of the markets we're looking at. But the thing is that, this, smart water meter, I think a lot of people know that, smart meter for electricity. Yes. But this one is that using a water stream, you can generate the electricity, you can capture the electricity, then using that electricity, you can transmit a signal. Then you can really control the whole, water network. Then you can identify leaks.
Leaks and that, yes.
And you can identify inefficient usage, But I think, eventually, it also, protects your community from some accident, including terrorism. Eventually, my goal is to sell the company, not sell the products.
Yes.
If the customers are looking for solutions, they gotta call us. And really that's how we like to, create our brand name.
That's a beautiful statement. We're selling the company rather than selling the product. Koshiba-san, it's been excellent speaking with you here and understanding how you manage a company through the turbulent waters of a sustainable revolution that is happening. I wish you success, and I wish that more companies like JSR would engage sustainability in the bold and direct fashion that you're doing.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, welcome.